Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly everything shifts? People stop talking, heads turn, energy changes. You didn't say a word, you didn't do anything, but they felt something. That's your aura. And if it's powerful, you don't need to prove it, you just are. But how do you know if yours really is that strong? Let's talk about it. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius didn't care much for flash. They believed power was quiet. It lived in how you moved, how you thought, and how you carried yourself when nobody was watching. You're not here to impress anyone, but if your aura is strong, you already do. This video isn't about hype. It's about the truth. The kind of truth you can feel but can't always explain. Let's look at the 5 signs your aura is powerful and why you're not like everyone else. Here's the thing no one really tells you. When your aura is strong, most people don't cheer for you. They fear you, not because you're bad or aggressive or loud, but because your energy reminds them of what they're not, and they don't know how to handle that. You'll make people uncomfortable. You'll be misunderstood, and most of the time you won't fit in. But the Stoics didn't want to fit in. They wanted to be free. This video is for those who feel that same pull, the ones who sense they're different, but haven't put it into words yet. Let's put it into words now. Sign 1. You don't chase, you attract. Let me tell you about a man named Elias. Elias worked in the city, not a CEO, not a famous athlete, just a guy. He worked at a local coffee shop, made decent tips, and read Epictetus during his lunch breaks. He didn't try to be cool. He didn't talk too much, but people noticed him. One day, a new girl started working the register. Bright, bubbly, always chatting. She'd flirt with every guy. Loud laughs, big gestures. But with Elias, she got quiet. Still, she said, "You have this thing. I can't explain it." And Elias just smiled. Didn't flirt back. Didn't need to. Because here's what people don't get. When your aura is strong, you don't need to chase. Your energy does the work for you. Elias didn't care who liked him. He was focused on being solid, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that presence, that calm certainty, that's what draws people in. Let's break that down. A strong aura isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most grounded. Epictetus once said, "Seek not the good in external things. Seek it in yourselves." When you stop seeking validation from the outside, you build power from the inside. And people feel that. They can't always name it, but it hits them differently. And it's not just attractive, it's magnetic. Most people chase approval, attention, applause. You don't. You attract it by being rooted in who you are, even if no one else understands it. And that's the first sign your aura is powerful. You don't chase, you attract. Sign 2, people project their insecurities onto you. Let me tell you about Nina. She was always calm, almost too calm for some people's taste, worked at a law firm, kept to herself, never got pulled into drama. She wasn't rude, she just didn't need to explain herself. One day a coworker snapped at her out of nowhere, called her cold, said she thinks she's better than everyone else. Nina didn't flinch. She just looked at them and said, "I'm not better than anyone. I'm just not competing with anyone." That response, it shut the whole room down. Here's what was really going on. Nina's energy made people face themselves, not because she said anything, but because her peace made them confront their chaos. When your aura is powerful, people start projecting. They'll assume you're judging them, even when you're not. They'll think you're arrogant, just because you're confident. They'll try to find flaws, because they can't find comfort in your presence. And most of the time, it's not about you. It's about what you represent. You remind them of what they could be if they let go of their fears, their masks, their need to be liked. And for some, that's terrifying. Let's bring in the Stoics here. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In other words, don't respond to projection with reaction. Don't fight small energy with more small energy. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. Let them twist it. You stay rooted, because the stronger your aura gets, the more it reveals the insecurities in others. And when that happens, don't dim your light just to make them comfortable. You weren't built to blend in. You were built to remind people what power looks like when it's silent. Sign 3. You can sit with pain without needing to escape. Let me tell you about Jamal. He lost his dad when he was 19. Didn't cry at the funeral, didn't post anything on social media, didn't talk about it for months. People thought he was bottling it up, but he wasn't. He was just processing it in his own way. Quiet, deep, real. One night, a friend found him sitting alone at the park, long after midnight, asked if he was okay, and Jamal said something that stayed with him forever. "I'm not okay, but I don't need to run from it." That's when you know someone's different. Most people distract themselves. Phones, parties, noise, anything to avoid sitting in silence. But Jamal, he sat with it. He looked his grief in the face, didn't try to numb it, didn't try to fix it. He let it teach him. That's a powerful aura right there. Not because it shines when things are easy, but because it holds steady when things are breaking. The Stoics lived this way. They didn't run from pain. They welcomed it, used it, learned from it. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Pain is a teacher most people never sit with long enough to learn from. But you face it. You don't collapse. You carry it, quietly, with dignity. And that's rare, because when you can hold your own suffering without making it everyone else's problem, people notice. Even if they don't say it, even if they don't understand it, they feel it. It's a stillness that can't be faked. It's strength that doesn't need to be shouted. You've been through hell and didn't ask for applause. That's the third sign your aura is powerful. You can sit with pain and still be at peace. Sign 4. You speak less, but what you say hits hard. Let me tell you about Mateo. Mateo wasn't loud, didn't talk unless he had something real to say. In a world full of noise, that made him different. At meetings, people talked over each other, trying to sound smart. Mateo would just listen, quiet, focused. Then, at the right moment, he'd say one sentence, just one, and it would change the whole direction of the conversation. He wasn't trying to make a point. He was the point. One time his boss asked him, "Why don't you speak more in these meetings?" And Mateo said, "Because most of the time, you're not talking to understand. You're just talking to respond." The room went silent. No one had anything to say after that, because they knew it was true. Here's the thing. People who have a powerful aura don't waste words. They understand the weight of language. They don't fill space just to be heard. They wait, they listen, they observe. And when they do speak, it lands, because it comes from stillness, not ego. This is straight from the Stoic mindset. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more and talk less." Powerful people don't argue. They don't need to dominate conversations. They just drop the kind of truths that make people rethink their whole perspective. Then go quiet again. And here's what that creates: mystery, presence, respect. Because in a world addicted to constant noise, your silence becomes sacred, and your voice, when it shows up, carries more weight than 100 opinions. That's the 4th sign your aura is powerful. You speak less, but what you say cuts through the noise. Sign 5, you make people reflect, even if they don't want to. Let me tell you about Amira. She didn't lecture people. She didn't push her beliefs on anyone. But just being around her made people think deeper. She never complained, never talked bad about anyone, never bragged. But when she looked at you, really looked at you, you felt like she saw something no one else did. Not in a creepy way, not in a "I'm judging you" kind of way. It was more like she could see the version of you you forgot existed. One of her friends once told her, "I don't know what it is, but after I spend time with you, I always feel like I need to change something in my life." That's not an accident. Here's what people don't get. When your aura is strong, your energy becomes a mirror. Not because you're trying to expose people, but because your truth reflects their lies. Your peace reminds them how noisy their mind is. Your confidence makes them face their insecurity. Your discipline shows them where they've been lazy. And most people aren't ready for that. Some will avoid you, some will envy you, Some will try to bring you down, mock you, or twist your intentions. But a few, a rare few, they'll be inspired. They'll feel something real for the first time in a long time. And that's what Stoicism is about at the deepest level. It's not just about how you live. It's about the quiet effect your presence has on the world around you. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's exactly what you do. You don't need to convert anyone. You don't need to force your beliefs. You live it and let that do the work. And that's the fifth sign your aura is powerful. You make people reflect, even if they're not ready for it. Your aura is a silent revolution. So now we've reached it, the moment where all these signs start to make sense. The silence, the stillness, the way people stare, then look away. The discomfort you cause just by walking into the room, the way others assume things about you, twist your words, or try to pull you into their noise. It's not a flaw, it's your power. You don't move like everyone else. You don't chase, beg, explain, or pretend. You don't force your presence into the world. You anchor it like a mountain, like a fire that doesn't burn wild, but slow and steady. You live by principles. You carry pain without turning bitter. You speak with precision, not performance. And your very existence, even in silence, becomes a challenge to the way people live. That's what a powerful aura really is. It's not something you try to have. It's what happens when you strip away everything false. That's why most people don't have it, because they're still trying to be liked, still addicted to approval, still building their identity on sand. But you've chosen stone. The Stoics didn't care if the world clapped for them. They didn't build their sense of self on applause. They built it on virtue, self-control, wisdom, courage, truth. And when you do that, really do it, you become untouchable. You don't fear rejection because you're not performing. You don't chase love because you already respect yourself. You don't shrink around power because you are power. The kind that doesn't need to dominate. And that kind of energy can't be faked. It can't be taught in a seminar. It's built in silence, in solitude, in suffering. People feel it before they understand it. That's why they stare, why they get nervous, why they feel exposed around you. Even when you say nothing, you are the reminder, the mirror, the presence they didn't expect, but can't ignore. And that's not arrogance. That's alignment. You've become the person the Stoics wrote about. Not perfect, but solid, rooted, unshaken. And that's rare. So if you've ever felt like you're different, like your silence makes people uncomfortable, like you don't quite fit into the chaos around you, that's not something to fix. That's your sign. Your energy speaks before you do. Your discipline, your presence, your peace, it interrupts people's patterns. You're not intimidating. You're just real in a world that forgot how to be. And that's rare. That's powerful. That's stoic. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove anything. Just keep walking with quiet strength, because the ones who get it will feel it. Watch this next video if you're ready to go even deeper.